Welcome, everyone, to All Things Energy. And it's just going to be such an exciting topic, astral projection. And here she is, everyone, the incredible Dana Jensen, to guide us along our way.
Hi. Oh, that was very nice of you. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. So welcome, everybody. We're so glad that you're here, whether you're here live like Mama G or that you're watching this at a later date. Today, we're talking about all things energy. And, you know, Heather and I were having a great conversation before we came on, doing all the technical stuff. And she was telling me a story about her experience. And maybe Heather, I think I want you to kind of share your experience with us a little bit, and then we can kind of move into the mechanics of astral traveling. And maybe at the end, I'll give some tips of what I do and what I've learned over, you know, the 20 or 30 years of metaphysics that I've been part of. And I think if you can sort of share our story, people are going to be able to relate to that, because lots of people have had that experience. I'll share one in a little bit too, but I really enjoyed it. Would you mind doing that right now?
Yes, I'd love to. Actually, it was a family vacation that my parents' ancestry.
Oh, Heather,
we were doing
Heather,
all kinds of
Heather, you're cutting in and out, hun.
real bad.
Yeah, you're cutting in and out. There's something going on with your technology on that side.
All right. Yep.
Maybe try and shut off your video and see if you can just speak it so we can hear you. And see if that doesn't stop it from cutting out.
Okay. So are we good? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, yes.
Okay, very good. So this was a family adventure trip that we were going on. My younger brother, myself, my mom and dad. And we were going to England. That's where a number of our ancestors have come from. And so anyways, my parents wanted to get as much history into us as possible about the lay of the land. And we went to this one monastery. Now there were not any buildings there, but what there were mounds of hilly mounds, and what underneath those the ground was the original structures of the monastery. And now I'm just going to back up a little bit. Before we got there, I told my mom that on the airplane that I've been to England many times before. Okay, so keeping that in mind, and I haven't, because this was my first time. I haven't even touched foot on the ground yet. So anyway, so we're at this monastery, and I'm feeling horrible, just horrible. I feel sick, and I'm hearing all kinds of chatter going on, and I'm seeing visions, and I'm shaking my head, trying to get rid of it. You know, like, I'm not seeing this, I'm not hearing this. And I just said, I have to get out of here, Mom. I can't stand it. My mom said that, you know, Heather, monasteries weren't always good places. And she says there was a lot of horrible things that were done to other humans, and that were kept at this location. And that's what I was seeing, and that's what I was hearing, but I kept trying to cancel everything out. And I just felt so relieved when we were miles down the road, when we left that place. Like I said, I felt horrible. I felt sick. So there we go, Dana. I'll leave that to you.
Yeah, wonderful and interesting. You know, I've had over the years many experiences that can be attributed to being in time and space, where I used to date this guy who used to go on drives. We'd be gone in the morning, we wouldn't be home until night, we'd hit some body of water and we'd come back. So I never really knew where we were. But I remember this one time, and this was, 20 years ago or so, but it was so interesting and I never forgot it. We were driving down the road and we came upon this river that it was a fairly big river, and we just followed it along the road. And as I'm sort of dreaming and going in my dream state and meditative state, all of a sudden I started seeing these little flickers of native Aboriginal people. And I started expanding the vision because they would like come out of nowhere. It'd be like pop, 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 and I'd see these families, or I'd see these, people that were just along the river, and then all of a sudden it opens up into this. It almost looked like everybody congregated to share their wares. They did. This was a big trading thing along the river, and I just watched this in this time and space, which I'm sure happened 5, 6, 1,000 years ago, or whatever it was at that time. And I was watching this, and it was little villages, it was little pockets of people, and there was like 20, 30,000 people that were part of this. It was amazing. And I'm following it all down the river, watching everybody go about their day doing what it is that they're doing. And I can't even remember how long we were driving along the river, but it was such an amazing experience. And then all of a sudden we come into this town, and we're moving away from the river. I can't see the visions anymore, and we're moving away from the river, and we drive into this town, and this gets a little dirty, but we come into the town, and all of a sudden the energy just changed. It changed completely. And I have a vision of this mortuarer, this man who processed people who had passed away, and he did diabolical, I don't even want to go into the vision that I saw, but holy, what a change and a shift just from being in one energy to another energy. And I know I was out of my body watching this. Even though I was conscious and sitting in the vehicle and we were driving, I was out of my body in this time and space watching this exist for a long time. It was quite trippy. I was quiet about it. I wasn't even telling my partner, look at the Indian, I don't say Indians, they're Aboriginals. But that's what I'm thinking in my head when I'm driving down the road. So we have these experiences, and I've had many experiences like this. And it kind of slips into a remote view, or it slips into some sort of idea of, yes, we're having this out of body experience, or we're doing this astral travel, which we can do at any time in any place. But it's really just putting our energy in a place that is, out there. It's not in your house, it's out in the world. What do you want to see? What house do you want to see? What trip do you want to go on next? What's going on with the people around you? There's so many ways that you can use astral travel or out of body experiences to really understand the cosmos and to understand your spirit and what your spirit can actually do. But it's been suppressed for so many years that we're taught, it's taught out of us when it's so naturally in us. So I can talk about this kind of stuff forever. But is there something that somebody would like to ask? Is there something that somebody would like to interject? And where do you want me to take this? This is about you guys.
Can I tell you about my experience?
Absolutely. You go right ahead.
Well, it started when I was fairly young. And if you recall, the other day I told you that I'd get my children to change their dream habits.
Yes.
Well, I used to have terrible dreams that I thought were dreams. We were in a very old house. When I was about 10 years old, we moved into this 150-year-old house. And I used to have ghosts come to me in my bedroom, and I didn't know at that time. I used to cringe. I put the blankets over my head, and then I take a deep breath and then go running into my parents' bedroom. And I said, I saw some ghosts. And my mother would say, oh, it's all in your mind. Go back to bed. Anyway, so off I went. So I had to come up with an idea on how to combat these ghosts. So I would think good things, and they seemed to not bother me. So they were friendly ghosts. And then I decided, well, if they're in my dreams, I'm going to start controlling my dreams. So I set my mind to doing that, and I was able to control my dreams. So the thoughts that I was dreaming were thoughts that I had put in my head. And then I graduated myself to astral flight. So I was in my dreams able to fly at any given moment, and I could take people with me. So I could hold their hand and just fly. I felt like Mary Poppins, really. And I haven't done it in a few years, quite a few years. I don't know why. I guess I haven't really tried, but at the time it was exhilarating, and it blew my mind that I could do that at a whim. Anyway.
Well, that's a great story. And, you know, I think we can all relate to that. There's so many people who have had these kind of crazy, you know, experiences that happen to them. But, you know, it's nice if we could talk about it and people can relate to it and understand that this is a mechanism that even though you haven't done it in a while, you can turn it right back on. Just like that, you can turn it right back on and really, I mean, again, at the end of the video or closer to the end, I'll give you some tips to sort of reignite that ability. And you don't need it all the time. Would you want to do it all the time, Heather?
Well, because I'm on to my learning phase, I feel like a sponge. I want to do as much as possible and just give it to me. Sure, I'd like to be able to astral travel when I'm, you know, in that sleep state, and just give me the information. What is the purpose? What do I need to do? How can I help? And go from there. So yeah, I'm a bit of a sponge that way.
Well, the purpose, I think that was one of your questions. The purpose is to enlighten your soul, to see perspective as you are not just this physical body, that you are a spiritual body. And if you're able to project your energy out into the world and into the community, what is your intention? Because really, if you're good at it, if you're a good person, you're going to project good things out into the world, and you're going to project good astral energy out in the world. And if you're not, then you're going to project a lot of negative stuff that's coming. And basically, you know, not to get a little bit conspiratorial, but these, you know, people who are creating all of this crap that's going on in the world understand this mechanism. So the people who are good with the intentions of being good and to raise the vibration of our community, it is very important that we understand that we have this mechanism as well. And if we can understand it in a way where it can be kind of, you know, terrifying. Think about those people who have those, what are they called? They wake up and they're paralyzed. It's what is that? What's the word for it? I can't think of it. They're having... they're paralyzed. They wake up, they can't move, they're sitting, they can move their eyes, they know they're conscious, but the body can't move. Paralysis, like waking paralysis, right. I guess is what it's called. And if they can just relax, you know, they're in something right now, your soul is not in your body at that point, but there's always a tether attached. Your soul is always is tethered to your body. So even if you're off at the Eiffel Tower or, you know, on the beach in some Caribbean island on some astral trip, you're still tethered to your body. And that tether can't be disconnected in any way. So you don't have to be afraid. But when you wake up and you're paralyzed and you can't move, you're thinking, what the fuck? You know, what's going on here? But if you could just breathe and relax and don't panic, know the tether is there. You can almost see it in your mind and see where your body is, see where your energy is, see where the consciousness is that you are looking at in the time and space that you're in. But a better way to do this is to have an intention, to lay down, have this wonderful out-of-body astral travel experience with an intention and a direction, so you feel like you have more control over it. Because sometimes it can be, if you're not in a really good state of mind, sometimes it can take you to places that you really don't want to go by default because your intention wasn't clear. So as long as you understand your intention and where you want to go, you will find it a lot easier to maintain what it is that you're doing and then relax in the experience. And you could just test yourself. I know people who have actually done like astral travel. They're laying in their house and then all of a sudden they want their energy to open a door or to turn on a light, or just their energy body, not their physical body. Their physical body is laying down somewhere where, you know, sometimes it's in that kind of sleepy state, but your energy is up roaming around your house. I mean, if I could get my energy to clean my house, that'd be a glorious day. So, you know, I think that would be something that would be wonderful if we could actually do that. But, you know, the more you do it, the better you get at it. And I think it's more for knowledge, spiritual knowledge, your faith, your spiritual journey, than it is to be able to physically do things. Some people can actually, if you look back in the military history, you'll find people who were remote viewers who were able to transcend into a situation and understand, you know, the world around them and you know, combating the energies, but doing it from a remote viewing sort of stance or an out of bodies way. If you look at some of them, they've been tested, you know, rigorously, and basically, you know, it works. Remote viewing works, and astral travel works. It works if you understand the mechanisms. So, and it takes a little while. It's like a muscle. You have to practice it as much as possible. So that's something that I think is something that will help so many people understand their energy and spirit, and you know, understanding what it is that they're hoping to find out. And I think sometimes you can change the energy of people by being energetically in their presence. I mean, I've done things when I first started doing this. I kind of eavesdropped on a conversation that a couple of my friends were having, and that probably wasn't the right thing to do, and I've never done it since because it didn't turn out very well, let's just put it that way. But I knew exactly what they were talking about word for word, and I told them, I know what you said, and I repeated it, and they both looked at me gobsmacked, and they were like, what's going on? And I thought, you know what? There was something else to that. There was a moral integrity to this, where it was a personal conversation between those two. And even though it was, the topic was about me, it wasn't for my ears or my information. It wasn't for my knowledge. I never should have done anything like that. So, and even though it hurt me, it hurt my ego, it did a whole bunch of things. And basically at the end of it, I understood that I just wanted to be right. I can see what you're doing, so you be a little bit more conscious about what you talk to. And that was my ego way back in the day. Now I don't care. Talk all you want, you know, and there's a learning mechanism to it, but there's certain things that you should do and certain things that you shouldn't do. And that's where, you know, intention and integrity comes in. So just to give you a little bit of an idea how that works, because there is something to the energy as well. But have like just, you know, when you're talking about lucid dreaming, has anybody had the experience where you've been able to change the end of the dream or change the sequences in the dream?
Yes.
So,
actually, Vivian has a story that she'd like to share. Is that okay?
Oh, wonderful. Go ahead, Vivian.
So I don't know much about astral projection, but I do have one story. It was kind of like a lucid dream, and I'm not even sure if it was astral projection or just a lucid dream, but I was in a hot air balloon over the sea on a stormy night, and it felt very, very real. And I don't know, I'm not sure if it was a dream or astral projection, but it felt very real.
It could be a lucid dream, and really it's a fine line between out-of-body experiences, astral travel, and lucid dreaming. they're all kind of working together. If you can do one mechanism, you can do other mechanisms. So, and they're just sort of a shift, you know, it's a shift in energy to do this, or it's a shift in energy to do that. So you can train yourself. I mean, if you enjoyed the dream in a sense, except for the stormy night, and it probably was a little bit terrifying being in a balloon in itself, but you know, that would be terrifying to me anyway. But I think if you want to understand dreams in a different way, having these out of body experiences or astral travels will show you a different way to interpret your dreams, because your dreams as you have them are not necessarily what it's trying to tell you. So you wake up and you have a dream, and you know it was this, that, or the other, and then you say, okay, well, the story combined says it's this, but you actually have to break the dream down into little segments and items and appearances, people, color, that kind of thing. And then you have to understand what all of that means to you. I kept having a dream about my car being stolen, and I understood my freedom was being stolen, because that's what it was. My car was being stolen, and that's my freedom. That's my get up and go wherever I want to go. And my current circumstances, because I was in it, didn't allow me to realize that my freedom was being stolen. And that's how it was telling me. So it's all about what it means to you. And if you can understand that in a different way, then it can help you make different decisions, because the next day that little car of mine was packed up with every little box I could find, and off I went. So, you know, and that was it. I never looked back. So there's things that it can show you and tell you as you go along. You can do it personally for yourself, you know, having these astral trips, you know, start like, I'll give you a little bit of a scenario about how I do it. And then, you know, you can try your own ways. There's different mechanisms. Something doesn't work for everybody. So we need to try different things. And it's not always going to work every time you do it. But basically what I do is I lay in my bed, and it's as if I can, you know, get into a meditative state, what I will do is I will actually rock my energy body out of my body. It's kind of like I can feel it rocking, and the energy around me, I can feel it moving, right? My body's not moving, my physical body's not moving, but I can feel my energy moving. So it's really all just in the feeling of what's experiencing it. And as it rocks out of my body, I actually have my energy body standing beside me at the bed. And in my energy body, I can see me laying down. I can see my body. I can see my physical body. And then now that I know I'm consciously in my energy, I'm going to walk out of my room. I'm going to go out into the backyard. I'm going to, you know, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to do whatever it is. I'm going to go really, really far, and I'm going to go on vacation and stand at a beach that I remember, or what have you. And all along, your tether is on you. You get excited when you feel like your energy is out of your body and your face feels kind of morphy. I don't know if you've ever had that experience, but you feel like things are morphing and your nose is not where it needs to be. And like you have these weird sensations in your body. So it's just something to keep in mind and go with the flow. That's all I say. And really just start testing it. You know, go to the kitchen, go to the bathroom, go and see what your husband's doing, go and see what the cat is doing. Just try and test it as you go along, and you'll get better and better. And then before you know it, you can go to the Grand Canyon and go and see, you know, the giants from the way back when that you know, they were there. And yeah, I see giants at the Grand Canyon. That's just my personal visions that I had when I was there. But it just feels to me like there's so many mechanisms that we can do with it. But I don't know, does that help you? Is there something you would like me to add to that to kind of help you out? It's hard to convey it because it comes to me so naturally. I just do it. So it's hard for me to kind of give you the point by point of what I do. I just do it. So is there anything you'd like to ask, or is there anything that I can help with?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do you think that animals can astral travel?
They sure can. They sure can. Have you ever seen an animal sleeping and they're running? Have you ever seen that?
Yes, the herky-jerky movements that they're making and little moaning sounds that they give.
Yeah, they're running or they're having a dream, but they're actually astral traveling. Their soul is not in their body at that point. And even when you're dreaming, your soul is not in your body. It's tethered to wherever it's going into dreamland. That's why it's so easy to get to the other dimensions when you go into dreamland. So people who are just starting on this spiritual journey will be able to have these vivid, lucid dreams to help them sort of get connected to their spiritual sense. But, the more you do it, the more in your waking days you're connected to that energy as well. So really, in my mind, I think, everything is a dream. This whole entire world is a dream. This life is a dream. It just feels like, are we sleeping right now? Are we in a dream right now? Who the hell knows? Are we in a little room in a pod somewhere dreaming away this whole thing? I mean, lots of movies about it. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, Dana, sorry to interrupt, but now sometimes, I don't know again if this is dreaming or astral projecting. Anyways, so sometimes I feel like I'm in a situation and I know it's not really me, but it's like I'm in someone else's body and I'm looking at what they're like, I'm looking through their eyes at something that they're doing. Then all of a sudden I'm out of their body and I'm like hovering around them, watching the situation play out.
Yes, absolutely. And you've done an energy transfer. Now, just a few little warnings with that. If people aren't inviting you into their energy, they don't know what's happening to them when you're looking at their world from their perspective or in their soul. So you want to be really careful when you're doing something like that because you can affect and change. But it shows you how natural you are at this. And you're better not to go into their body to see it from their perspective, in my opinion. You're better to stand in the room and do a bit of a remote view and still have your astral travel experience, but you're better not to go into their energy center. It's I don't know, there's something to it. Maybe other people have different opinions on this, which is very possible. Just in my personal assessment, it's not always a good thing to do that. I mean, if you're helping somebody and you don't quite understand what they need, maybe that might be valid to go in and step into their perception to see it the way they see it in order to help them better. But if you have this natural ability, Heather, then there's ways to do this where it can be very beneficial, where you can be really helping the people that you already help, helping them see the light, helping them have faith and possibility. And there's so many things that you can do in that sense. So very good. If you can do that naturally like that, I would hone that a little bit more if I were you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that sounds great because it has happened a lot. And sometimes I'm in someone's body and they're not thinking good thoughts at all. And so, I try to, how can I say, leave with a positive, leave them with something positive. But I'm jumping out of their body like real quick.
There's something in you that tells you that you shouldn't be in there then. That's exactly what I was just trying to say. But that you can naturally do that is good to understand as well. Even though you maybe won't choose to do that on a regular basis, it's a very good understanding that you can do that naturally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Very good, actually. Very, very good. And understanding the quantums of it. I mean, this is something that's in our brain. This is something that's part of our body that we were born with. This was something that each and every one of us can do on a natural level. And, just rocking your body out. Sometimes people will actually they'll be laying there and they'll want to have this out of body experience and they'll just pop up almost like a rake. They'll just woof, and the energy will be out of the body. I mean, how many times have you heard people going in for surgery and saying that they were on top of their body, where they could see what the surgeons were doing and what they were talking about? Well, that's an astral trip. Even though you're unconscious or your body's unconscious, your consciousness is never unconscious. No, whether your body is sleeping or not, it's the body that needs to sleep, not the soul. So when you're thinking about that, there's certain things that you can do as well. You can float your body right out of your whole sort of physical body and float your energy body, and you can have somebody put a number on the ceiling that's too small that you can't see it unless you're right on it. Okay. And when your astral body floats up to the ceiling and all of a sudden you can see the number up there, you know, you got it. You know, there's ways to do that too.
Neat.
Yeah, I like that very much.
Yes.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Vivian.
Vivian, do you have anything you want to say?
Oh, I thought I heard your voice.
No. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I hope this. Oh, go ahead, Heather. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I found that very, very helpful what you said, and I'm going to have to get my niece here to put a number on the ceiling for me before she goes.
And make it so small that you can't see it with the naked eye, okay? And don't try to intuitively guess it. Just allow your astral body to see it. A lot of times what you'll see when you're on an astral trip is your hands. If you look at your hands straight up, if you know that you're out of your body and you're an energy body, they'll almost look kind of cartoonish.
Oh.
You can wave them in front of you and they'll look like they have a trail, or they'll look like they're not going to be solid like you and I. So there's little telltale signs that are telling you that you're doing it. And then be careful too, because when you get excited and you say, I'm doing it, you're like, boom, right back in your body.
Yeah.
So you really, it is a practicing thing, and it's something that you can do. But, you know, you can also jump ahead in an astral travel. You can actually, because there's no such thing as time. Time is a construct of Earth. So, you know, we have to get up in the morning and do this, and this. But I don't even have a clock in my house. My computers have clocks, but I wouldn't even have a clock in my house if I didn't need to know the time. And I don't need to know the time most of the time, except doing appointments. But if you think about time and space as it doesn't really exist, that anywhere you go in your spiritual body, you can go at any time, at any place, in any point in history, and any point in the future. And you can go there and you can see what it is that you want to see, bring back the information. Some of it will be able to be validated. And if you really want to do a lot of work on that and start digging for it, I don't know, I do, because I like the confirmation. But other than that, you can just have the experience that you've had, and it is what it is, without, you know, doing some deep diving with it. But, you know, this can go in so many directions. This can have such a wonderful conversation, and, you know, we can get so in depth with what this is. And everybody has a story about astral travel and flying, especially when you were a kid. You were, you know, coming out of your body and you felt like you were flying, and, you know, and that's a real thing. Your astral body was actually flying, and, you know, norms society tells you were just having a dream. It was a good one, but it was just a dream, and it's not true. It's just simply not true. Yeah. So there you go. What do you think, guys? Have we talked about this? Do we have enough pointers to give it a try?
I think so, Dana. I think this is wonderful. It's been very, very helpful on my end as well. And Mama G, what's your thoughts?
Oh, yeah. And I can relate to, like, different situations in my life with my children and them having bad experiences out of body, and having to encourage them back into their body. Yeah, and it worked.
Well, that sleep paralysis is not something to be messed with, but I think maybe we could even, you know, have conversations about all that stuff too. So yeah. I think at this point, wonderful, what we're going to do is end this video. And but if there's anybody who's watching this video, or anybody who would like to talk about anything metaphysical. I mean, I've been a master psychic for a long time, and that's not ego. That's just you've done things for so long that you just know enough to have these wonderful conversations. And I think it's so important to be able to enlighten everybody. We need to know our spiritual center more than ever now. And we need to be able to utilize it and know our strengths. And I love talking about it because I know every single person can do it. So I think it's important, if there's anything that you want to talk about or anything that you have concerns about. I know lately I've had quite a few people who were calling me about ghosts and spirits and seeing things out of the corner of their eyes, and they're feeling like they're losing their minds. So I've actually had a lot of personal calls for people who are reaching out to me wanting more information about that. So there is definitely something going on and shifting in the environment. I don't know. Are we there? Are we ready to talk about spirits and ghosts and maybe different perspectives of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you into that?
Yes, let's do it. Yeah.
All right. Well, good. So don't forget to come over to All Things Energy on Dana's server in Discord, and Heather will be here 3 days a week, and we're going to have wonderful conversations. I also do question and answer a couple of days a week, and but if there's anything that you want to contribute, or any neat videos that you find, or anything that actually helps people move along, go ahead and put it into Turn the Knob. You can do any YouTube videos or any kind of videos that are interesting, or advertise your own business or anything along those lines. You can go into Turn the Knob in the text channel and put your message in there. But other than that, I think that's all we need to say today. Of course, it's been wonderful, and I love doing these. I love having these conversations with you guys. I do.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, wonderful. That's great, Dana. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dana.
You're very, very welcome. Bye, Vivian. I know you're going home soon. I hope you had a wonderful time.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heather, we will talk to you on Monday. It has been my pleasure as usual, and have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you. You too.